Hello, everybody. I'm here to talk about OpenSC. OpenSC is hopefully coming up in a second. It is. OpenSC is a company launched jointly and co-founded jointly by two organizations, WWF and BCG Digital Ventures. It's a profit-for-purpose company, and what we're trying to tackle are some of the issues of how we humans can sustain living on this beautiful planet that we're on right here. When you look at the 17 SDGs, you can see that more than half of them are directly related to the production and consumption of the goods. Of the goods that we as humans consume every day. And so, what we put ourselves as a challenge is to say, how can we help make more of that sustainable and therefore give a contribution to conservation. Now, WWF has been doing that for years, for 30, 40 years. And they've done that very successfully. They've done that very successfully predominantly through what's called the Market Transformation Initiative. And what that is they bring people together in different industries onto roundtables and form certification bodies that define what sustainability means in a specific industry. So, for example, MSC in the seafood space, RSPO for palm oil, or FSC for timber. Now, that has been super successful and arguably one of the most impactful things that's happened in conservation, but there's a scaling problem. There's a scaling problem because if we look at the percentage of sustainably produced goods in each one of those industries, none of them really go above sort of 20%. There seems to be a glass ceiling there of around 20%. So what can we do? And it took 30 years to get there. What can we do to increase that impact? Because the planet's not going to have another 30 years for us to solve that. And that's really the challenge that we're trying to tackle or trying to contribute to. Now, we believe that one of the major things that we can do to help here is create carrots and sticks. What we mean by that is we want to create a carrot for those who are doing the right thing and are producing responsibly and ethically, and be able for them to participate in a market and gain from it. At the same time, we want to create sticks so that those who are not doing the right thing cannot hide anymore in the obfuscation of a complex supply chain. The way we think that this is possible is through transparency and traceability in supply chains. My clicker doesn't like me anymore. Sorry, my clicker doesn't like me anymore. Oh, there we go. Through traceability and transparency in supply chains. And for that, we need four main things in here. Number one is capture. We need to capture data at source and throughout the supply chain that helps us understand what's actually going on and give individual products an identity, not the kind of product, but each individual product itself. Number two, store. We need to be able to store that information in a trustworthy and immutable way. Number three is we need to be able to use all of this data to verify sustainability claims and claims about ethical production. And then fourthly, we need to be able to expose that information to consumers in a way that promotes sustainable consumption and lets consumers choose along with the values that they have. Now, why do we think that right now is a good time to actually do that? It's because across all of those four dimensions, we're at an inflection point from a technology perspective. For capture, the falling cost of IoT means that, sorry, it's still not clicking. Can you hold the computer up a little bit? Thank you very much. The falling cost of IoT means that it's now cost effective to put sensors in many, many places, even for the most low-priced commodities. Store. The emergence of decentralized technology and the continuous development of it means that already today blockchain technology is ready for certain parts of what we're trying to do. The vision of having third-generation protocols arriving means this will be a great catalyst for what we're trying to do here. Number three, around verify, all of this data means that we can put smarts against it and verify sustainability claims in a different manner by using this data and replacing manual audit by humans. And expose is the most straightforward one. You have a lot of digital channels to talk to consumers about. So how do we do that? Well, you need to get your hands dirty and do it in a real-world example to try and understand what it means to build a platform that enables this and helps situations like that to occur. And so the example that I want to show you here is from good old Aussie prawns. Deliberately taken an example of something that is relatively low cost. We have another pilot supply chain that we're actually using here in Davos as part of our launch at a couple of key events. We're serving Patagonian toothfish or Chilean sea bass. It's quite high-priced commodity. It's a really nice fish, and it's traced end to end throughout, and it's a beautiful story around it. But then you always get the criticism of saying like, well, you can do that because it's a really high-priced item. We think we're at a point in time where you can do that even for low-priced items like this. Sorry. This will take exactly 1 minute and we'll make it a little bit more tangible. So on capture, what that means is you need to go out into the sea and on the vessels and actually implement the technology there and get out of the way of the workflow of people and do on-site prototyping, because if you don't understand the humans, they're not going to use the technology. Number 2, around store. Pretty straightforward, you would think, but if you truly want to build this decentralized, there's quite a few things that you need to consider. And frankly, the technology is not there yet to do it for all of the pieces of data that you want to do, but we believe it will be there soon, and for many it already makes sense. Number 3, verify. This is an interesting part. In this particular example, we're verifying whether you can ascertain that something was fished in a legal zone or not, and you use the GPS data but also seafloor depth and then a machine learning model to do that in an automated manner. And expose, it's really important to do that per channel with an individual solution for every channel. You'll see some screenshots from our product that's already live, and you can check that out yourself if you want to. It tells the story of where the product comes from and how we can verify that it is produced sustainably. Feel free to do that on your own devices when my next click comes. There you go. Feel free to do that with your own devices. Thank you.